Hi, my name's Fiona. Welcome to the Creative Pathways podcast, experiencing a magical journey in life.
Hello there, my name is Keith and I'm going to talk about the same thing. And I think we're both going to pour into this experience as it happened, with the memory of how it happened.
Okay, so where do we start?
Iceland,
Of course.
Iceland because of what? Well, basically, Iceland is magical.
Yes.
It is beautiful. It is full of nature spirits.
Yes, it's where we first saw the little people.
In the stone, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's where they have a road that goes round, is diverted by the government of Iceland because someone said you can't move that rock.
Yes, because the little people live in the rock.
And guess what? They couldn't blow it up, they couldn't move the bulldozers, and they were right, they couldn't move the rock.
Yes.
And that rock is still there, and that road still goes around that rock.
Yes.
And that's Iceland. And that, for me, typifies Iceland.
Iceland is a place of massive inconsistencies, really, because it's very modern in a lot of ways. But in a lot of ways, it also still has the old beliefs, the sagas, the spirits.
And for me, more importantly, the earth shakes, and I love earthquakes.
Yes.
I love to be in an earthquake. I love to feel that experience as the world shakes under your feet.
Yeah, let's just mention here that we haven't been in any big earthquakes, just very small ones.
I don't know, we could jump forward to Skåne. We were in quite a big one in Skåne in Sweden, but
Yeah.
4.2, 4.5s we've been in, haven't we? Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
A little bit of vibration.
Well, a little bit more than a little bit, but the point being is the one thing for me that Iceland gave was the feeling that every moment was magical, and that here was a land that people hadn't forgot where they came from. It was in their blood. They felt it. There's fire and ice and massive waves. Nature is everywhere. Nature's surrounding you and talking to you all the time.
Yes. And there are lots and lots of different nature spirits, feelings with the water and the spas. There's nothing on this earth like sitting in absolutely wonderful hot water with snow coming down on you from the sky, so your hair's freezing. And it's just a beautiful feeling. How can you not grow spiritually there?
Yeah. And if you think about it, Fiona, I mean, one of our memories is our little Lisa and experiencing midnight swim in the open air swimming pool with the big lights on and giant snowflakes, well, they seem giant snowflakes, falling down from the sky gently. -10, I think it was. Our hair's freezing on the head and dipping our head under the water and unfreezes. And her saying to you, what was it she said? What is this, Mum?
Yeah, what are we doing, Mum?
And what did you say?
I said, we're having an experience.
And has Lisa ever forgot that experience?
No.
No.
No, and for many, many years afterwards, when she had an experience or an unusual happening in life, she used to say to me, oh, we're having an experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I think is experience is the absolute eccentricity of many of the people we met as we travelled across, through and around Iceland, because they live so isolated. They're connected to the old sagas tales. They're connected to their Viking heritage, but they're also connected to everything that's natural around them, which they touch and use and utilise in day-to-day life.
Yes, we had a lot of experiences ourselves there. We were in Iceland working, and we were working with a lot of different groups of people. And we actually had many of our thoughts and feelings either confirmed or actually enhanced.
Yeah, yeah.
For instance, past lives. I mean, the experiences we both had there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Before Iceland, we talked about it, didn't we? Did we believe in past lives? And we sat on the fence in a way. We couldn't make our mind up. I had some ideas that maybe not. Some stuff about Germany and being Jewish in the previous life. But I didn't know if it was true or false, in all honesty. And you had a few things, but it was like, well, it doesn't prove to us anything. We were sitting on the fence still, weren't we? We weren't this way or that way.
Yeah, because although we've worked for many, many years with the different energies and with the different levels of not only spiritual but psychological vibrations in people's lives, we always were open to investigation and being skeptical too.
I think being skeptical is really important. But being skeptical is different from following convention and textbook beliefs, because that's not being skeptical. If you just follow science, if you don't explore it yourself, is there, for example, telepathy? Is there energies in the earth that move? Is there spirits that talk to you? Are there nature spirits? And these kind of questions, you can only answer yourself directly through experience.
Yes. Yes. You have to experience it.
Or else you're just taking a scientific survey on it. Or you're just taking someone's belief and story and saying, I accept, because they see a spirit that they do. Until you see a spirit or connect with a spirit, you don't know if that's true or false. The experience is the thing. Experience is king. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had a very, very many unasked for experiences in Iceland, which gave us a new insight into...
You mean like the earthquake at 2 a.m?
No, actually, I was more thinking about the experiences we had with past lives. For instance, we were on the bridge.
The Viking ship as well.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was weird because independently, we both had the same experience in some way with the same ship coming towards us, but we weren't there at the same time.
No, you invited at one time and I was invited another time, and we were taken by the same person to the same place who didn't tell us, did they? That what you'd experienced or I experienced, but we both experienced it. And then afterwards, he admitted that, oh, yeah, was it you first or me?
I think you went first, actually.
Yeah, then he admitted to you that I'd had the same experience, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
It actually was one of the most frightening experiences I've had doing this work. We a friend of ours who we've known for a very long time, an Icelandic man called Baldur. Baldur. Yes, Baldur.
Yeah.
He took us individually on a kind of spot the energy tour around Iceland, around the kind of major road. And he stopped at certain places and said, where is the energy? Because there are lots and lots of different crossings, aren't there? Crossing of energy.
Yeah, there's many lines and conjunctions, you could say, of energy. Yeah.
And then we got to this, we went over a bridge, over water, over a bridge, and we got to this kind of cafe.
Yeah, but we went to that place called Småland, didn't we?
Oh, I can't remember the names
No,
now.
not Småland. No. The same place. What do you call it where our friend friends live? Oh, Anneli and Mika. Värmland. Because it was Värmland, and Värmland is hot land, isn't it?
Yes.
But so we see Värmland in Sweden, which is not warm land, and Värmland area in Iceland, which is warm, bubbling hot water coming out of the earth. Remember?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I do, yeah. But I was thinking about that particular time. We stopped at a cafe, which was at the end of the bridge, and Balder and I walked up to the counter to order some coffee. And as we went up to the counter, I literally felt myself being lifted out of my body. It was so completely real that I was actually holding on to the counter to stop myself rising up. And I just, everything was lost to me. The cafe was gone, everything. And I could see myself hiding behind a wall as a young boy with another boy there who I knew was my brother. And as I looked through the cracks in the wall, I could see ships coming towards us. And I knew that we were going to die and that I had actually died in that place. And it was so real. So it was probably at the most a couple of minutes, but it was absolutely as real and touchable as anything I have in this life.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember talking to that man. We were at that place called Kirikeri, I think, where they have the banana tree.
Yes.
The Icelandic banana tree in the heated.
Oh, the Eden.
Eden,
yes,
yeah,
Eden.
Yeah, because it's heated by glacial, no, what do you call it, hot water from the volcanic system. Yeah. Excuse me, but basically, I remember the feeling there of the earth and the shaking. And I went to that place. Did I go separate to that place where you went then?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because I had a similar experience, didn't I? But not the one of death. It wasn't one of death. And we talked about it. And you said, I'm certain we were Irish. Remember?
Yes.
Something about Irish. And then we talked to that historian. And why I think about that place, Kirikeri. That's the pronunciation is difficult. Okay. A historian said, no, that's not true. It was not. The first people were the Vikings. But then we met that other historian at that place, remember? And he was writing a book at the time saying that the Irish were the first. Irish monks, but also some Irish families. And you said you described a house to him that was buried into the side of the wall.
I drew it.
Okay, yes, which was volcanic.
Yes, yes.
And they said, no, there's nothing like that. But he had discovered them, hadn't he?
Yes, he had. Yes.
And he was now at that point in time, rather, writing that book about an alternative view that the Irish were there first and the Vikings were there second in Iceland. Yes.
Yeah, and it was all just so wonderful and magical. And then the feeling of being out walking across, what are they called? I can't think.
Lava beds.
Lava beds, yes, yeah. Lava beds.
Yeah.
And actually...
Which, by the way, if you go to Iceland, you're not supposed to do unless there's a few of you, because they can crack open and you can fall down a nice big hole and get stuck there and they won't find you again.
Yes, and we didn't actually know that at the time, but no. That was, yeah. But going across there and seeing the nature spirits and feeling the nature spirits.
Seeing them together and explaining what we were seeing as well. Like that stone with the doorway. It was the actual door. We both saw the door.
Yes.
And we saw a little person about, I don't know, in inches, you would say about 5 inches. So how many centimeters that was, I don't know. But we saw the same person. And then you saw a woman as well, didn't you? I saw a man. Then you saw that man. Yes. And then you saw a woman. By the time I got back, she disappeared, so I didn't see the woman. And
there was a whole feeling of another place, another town within where we were at that point in time.
But that's happened on the journey, hasn't it?
Yes.
I mean, that happened in Margate before we ever left the country.
Yes. Seeing through the dimensions.
Yeah, and when we was house cleaning, which basically is people asking you to go to house to have psychic activity, and we, as mediums, we were working to move the spirits on. So we just kind of had those similar feelings before Iceland. But the Icelandic journey, and the reason I think we both wanted to talk about that as the first podcast was because of the power of the magic they opened in us, because that's the magic.
It opened tremendous magic for us, didn't it?
And what is magic? It is basically going beyond what you're being taught, experiencing something which actually isn't just an illusion, because it backs up you can research it yourself logically. And we have many experiences of this and find the truth, can't you? That these things existed. Or someone else, like your experience, told you, yes, those houses existed. Yes, I have a theory. I'm writing a book on the fact that the Vikings weren't the first people in Iceland. Now, we didn't know that until he told us, did we? No. They'd all said the Vikings were the first. The Vikings were the first. That was the accepted belief.
Yes, absolutely. And I really feel that you can't have this journey through life and be in a magical state unless you learn to experience. And I want to say, in one way, without question, of course you should question, but in another way you should also just feel.
Well, I just want to say what personally what happened to me always, and was you were, I think, maybe being feminine and female. You felt the history of the people, how they lived, and you felt the life and getting the food, the cooking of food, the culture building up. And I didn't connect so much to that. I had the connection to the land, didn't I? So I would feel, you would feel a little place where people lived, and I would feel the power of the lava. But we both had experiences where we knew people had died in that, like that valley that split open, that big split that goes right down that valley. I don't even know the name, but
No.
But I felt often the earth, whereas you often felt the people.
Yes.
And there we have our differences. You were connecting to a more personal thing, and maybe I was connecting more to the planet. And because that was my interest, wasn't it? And your interest has very much been always helping people. Firstly, I think, as mine has been fascination. I've been more fascinated about things, but you've always been a terrific healer.
Well, I will just say one thing here, actually, when you just reminded me on that note of experiences and helping people. I was actually once doing a workshop in Iceland, and I had a lady on the workshop who'd got tremendous problems with her throat. And we were talking and she was asking me, about this. And I suddenly had this absolute knowledge that I had chopped her head off. And I just knew
How
it.
did you tell someone that? Though?
Well, I did.
I know. I remember.
Me being me.
I chopped your head off. Didn't you just say it like that? Yeah.
I just said to her, you know what? I think the reason you're in my workshop today is because I chopped your head off.
And I'm still not sorry.
No, and I suddenly had this whole past life in front of me of being a person who did guillotines in France.
Guillotine,
yes.
yeah.
And I just knew I'd chopped her head off. So we talked about it. I told her what I saw. And she said to me afterwards that she never, ever, as she did that, it was a release and she let go of it.
But it does explain why I've always, since I've known you, slept with one eye open, doesn't it?
Yes, probably.
Yeah. Don't you think so?
But that was real healing for her. And it was quite an experience to actually just suddenly see that, talk to the person, and for whatever reason, and we have no explanation of that, just she didn't have that problem again. It went.
Yeah.
So sometimes the past life is not about you. It's actually about another person. And that was, again, a magical experience.
So yeah, I mean, but you see, the magical experience is personal. And this is, I think, an important point. You tuned into that woman's stuff. And for me, I've always been interested, like being from the Lake District. I mean, you're from Yorkshire, you come from beautiful country, but I came from beautiful country too. And mountains, similar to Iceland, but no volcanic activity. And I always felt land, but to feel the power of a land like Iceland, which is living and moving as you're on it, it's like a chakra point in the earth in a way, and we'll talk about chakras at another point, but to experience that power of the earth and feel that it connects to you inside your body, that is an experience that takes you somewhere. It opens up so many other dimensions.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, it looks like we're out of time.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Us being us, we were probably just getting into it.
I thought it was 25 minutes, but there you go. And I want to say 1, 2 other things, but it's the way it is. Okay. I think we finished.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, thank you for listening. I've really enjoyed it. Have you?
Yes.
And we'll see you on our next podcast. Bye, and thank you for listening.
Bye.